Hello students. Hope you people have started doing your projects and some of you are facing some difficulties and you all are messaging me. So in today's class I'll be doing a few more programs. Most of the programs which I have given you in the project they are near similar or identical to the ones which I have already solved it for you. Okay, so if you just watch the recordings carefully, then I'm sure you will be able to solve the project questions properly. Okay, now in today's class, we will be doing a few more programs from the activity section of your textbook. Okay, so in the last class, we did a few programs like, displaying the multiples of a given number in a table form. Okay, and we had done squares of any given number. Okay, then I showed you that if you were to convert that square program to a cube, then how to do it. So it was, minor changes. Most of the programs I have already done with you. So the ones which are given in the project are, you have to just put your mind a little bit to it and you will be able to solve it. Okay, even then if you cannot, you're free to please ask me in the message. I will reply to you personally. Okay, now coming to the question which we are going to do today. Now on page number, just a moment. Okay, on page number 87, we have many programs. Now, the second one is saying write a program to print all the factors of 20. Okay, now what are factors basically? Can you tell me what are factors? Factors would be like when I say a particular number, like any number. Suppose if I say what are the factors of 20. So, in that case, factors would be any number which is divisible by which is coming in the table of 20. Okay, so for example 1 into 20 is 20, so 1 is a factor. 2 into 10 is 20, so 2 is a factor. Even 10 is a factor. Okay, then 3 in 3 table 20 doesn't come, so 3 is not a factor. 4 4 fives are 20, so 4 and 5 both are factors. So basically, in order to find the factor of any given number, what I'm doing is I'm dividing 20 by every number from 1 till 20. I will take every number and I will see whether it is divisible or not divisible. If it is divisible, then that number is a factor. Otherwise, it is not a factor. Okay. So this is for calculating for the number 20. But this is the same question I can modify and make it a little bit more. The program could work for any given numbers factors. Okay. So you know that like instead of 20, I could accept the number from the user and then do it. So we will solve that program today in BlueJ and we will do a few more programs depending on the time. Okay. So let us begin now. Okay, so I'm opening a new class. I'll call it as factors. Okay. Now, what I'll do is in the first program, just now what I will do is I will solve this program to display the factors of 20. Okay, and then we'll modify it to display the factors of any given number. Okay, so first I'm deleting all this and we will just write over here program to display factors of 20. Okay, now this is a block comment. I'm closing it. I begin with the declaration of the class. So I have called it as factors, so I'll call it factors here also. Then I declare the main method. So I say public static void main, and within this, right now, since I'm not accepting anything, I'll call it as string args. Okay. Now, how many variables do you think we will need in this? Now, first of all, we will need one number. In this case, like since 20 is the given number, I know that I'm finding the factors for 20 only, so I'm not keeping a variable for 20. But what I have to do is right from 1 to 20, I'm going to keep dividing it by 20. If it is divisible, then I will display it amongst the names of the factors over there. Otherwise, I will not display. Okay. So in this case, I will need a control variable called I. I'll call it I. Okay. So I'm saying int I. So I will say control variable. This is just a comment entry to explain what I'm doing. Control variable. Then I'm going to say over here. Now, before I start printing over there, checking whether it's a divisible for divisibility, I will just display over here system.out.println. Okay, the factors of, and in this case, I will say 20 because 20 is a constant here, of 20 are, and then I'm going to print over here. Okay, now this is, I'll just print this over there in the beginning, and then I'm going to say over here, I'll keep this as okay. Now I'm keeping using the for loop for this. So I'm going to begin with I is equal to 1 because 1 is also a factor. Okay. So for I equal to 1, I less than equal to, now I have to keep doing this till 20 because I'm finding the factors of 20. Actually speaking, you must have learned in your maths class also that when we come to the half of the number, okay, so suppose if we are finding 20, so when we do, we should, if we check till 10 we find all the factors, because beyond that you will not find the factors over there. So you can either do it till 20 or you can do it less than or equal to 10 also, but just for simplicity's sake I'm keeping it as 20 over here. Okay, it will work in both case. Only thing is that here we are increasing the number of iterations more number of times. Okay, so in this I'm going to do is I'm going to check for its divisibility. So if 20 modulus I initially will be 1, so 20 divided by 1, if it is coming to a 0, that means the remainder, if it is a 0, that means it's a factor. Okay, so we are supposed to print it. So if 20 modulus 1 equals 0, then system dot out dot println, I will not say ln, I will say print, and then I will say over here the number. Okay, so I is the number which is there, so it will print initially I is 1, so it will print 1 over here. Okay, and then else if it is not divisible I don't want to do anything, and this is all that I will do in my loop over here. Okay, and okay, I even want to print because it will just stick the numbers to each other, so I will put over here plus space here, so it will print the numbers after leaving one space there. Okay, and in my for loop I'm just checking whether it is first it will check for 1, then I plus will make it 2, so it will check for 2, 20 divided by 2, if it is it will print 2, then it becomes 3. If it is not, in 20 divided by 3 will not equal to 0, so it will not do this. That means at the end of when I reaches 20, we will have all the factors for 20 printed over there. Okay, so let us just check this out. So as many opening brackets, only thing is this indentation is not a little bit proper. I'll just indent it properly. Okay, now I'm compiling this. errors found. So you say control K. So this is saying unclosed string. So I close the string here. Yeah. Now compile it again. No errors. Now let me execute this program. So when I execute this, okay, I have no input, so I just press OK. Now you can see over here, it is printing 1, 2. Since 3 is not a factor, it is not printing 3. 4 is a factor, 5. 6 is not a factor, 7 is not a factor, 8 is not a factor, so it doesn't print all that. 9 is not a factor, 10, and then at the end it is printing 20, because between 10 and 20, as I told you, like for any given number, when you reach the half of that number, you'll not find any more factors beyond that. Okay, so we can actually stop beyond that and print the number itself as the last factor. Okay, so now I'm going to modify this program to print the factors of any given number. Okay, now I'm on the wrong program, just a moment. This is the program. Yeah. Okay. Now in this case, what I will do, if I want to print for any given number, first of all, I'll have to store that number whose factor I want to find in a variable. So let's assume I'll call that number as n. So I will say int n. Now the value of this n will come from the user. When I execute the program, the user will type in the number and it will be stored in n. Now since I am replacing 20 with n, wherever 20 is, I am going to replace it with n. So first of all, in this message over here, the factors of 20 are, instead of saying the factors of 20 are, I have to say the factors of whatever number the user has typed. That number should be printed over here. So what I will do is I'll close my string here. Okay, and here I will use the variable n, because that is replacing 20 there, and then I say plus and then close my sentence there. Okay, so this is the first modification I made. Second modification is that when I'm saying less than equal to 20, here I will say less than equal to n, and suppose I want to check for half the number, so I can check over here n divided by 2. Okay, I can do it like this, or I can, but in this case I'll just keep it as n just now for simplicity sake. And here I will check the third place where I'm replacing is I will check for n modulus I equals 0. Okay, and then so any given number, like when I will execute this program, so if it when it will ask me for the number, suppose I type 30, so it will give me the factors of 30. Suppose if I type 25, then it will give me the factors of 25. So whatever number I type, it will give me the factors of that number. Okay, let us see whether this works. No errors. So I come back here, I execute this. Okay, now it is asking me factors. So I am going to type over here, suppose if I say 45. Okay, so the factors of 45 are 1, 3, 5, 9, 15 and 45. I hope it's correct, right? We'll try it once more with another number. Right click. I'll give a number as, let's say, 32. Okay. So this is it. Let us give a prime number. Okay. Suppose if I say 5. So it should tell me 1 and 5. Yeah, it is. So it's working for all numbers. Okay. So you'll have made a program which is going to actually work for, it will print the factors of any given number. Okay. Now this is one program. Now in your textbook, another program which is there is, we will go in for the last program, or let's say I'll take up a simple program first before we continue. Okay, now there is one program over there which is asking you over here, this is the third last program, sorry, second last number. Write a program to print the Fibonacci series up to 10 terms. Now what is the Fibonacci series? Okay, so basically any number, like see the series would be like this: 0 1, and then again 1, then 2, then 3, then 5. How is the series calculated is the sum of the previous two digits is the next term in that series. Okay, so I'll just show it to you. I'll just call this as a new class. I'll call it as Fibonacci series. Okay. I'm selecting the whole thing, delete, giving my comment entry here, program to print 10 terms in the Fibonacci series. Okay, now just I hope you can see my screen here. So it is, example is 0 1, then the next number will be 1, then the next number will be 2, the next number will be 3. Okay, the next 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 5 would be 13, and so on. So like this we want up to 10 terms. Okay, so this is the Fibonacci series. Now we want to generate a series like this. Now in this case, what you need is basically, you need, it's a very simple program actually if you go to see. What we are doing is we will keep two variables. Okay, we'll keep one variable in which we will initially store 0, another variable in which we will initially store 1. Okay, and we will have to keep one more variable which is going to store the sum of the two. Okay, so first we will print the first number variable and the second variable both. After that, we will, in the loop, what we will keep doing is we will add the first and the second number and print the third variable. Okay, and after adding and printing the third variable, we have to change the values of the first and the second variables. Okay, it's as simple as that. It's a very simple program if you apply your mind to it. Okay, so we will begin with declaring the class. So public class, I have called it Fibonacci, so I will call it same thing here. Then public static void main. Okay, here there are no inputs at the time of program execution, so I call it string args. Okay, now I initialize, first thing I'll initialize my three variables. So I'm calling it as n1 for the first number, n2 for the second number, and n3 for the third number. Okay, initially I will say n1 is equal to 0. Let's not forget the semicolon. n2 is equal to 1. Okay, now before I begin, I will print the two numbers first. Okay, so I will just say, again I'll just give a heading sort of a thing here, print system.out.println, and I'll write over here 10 terms of the Fibonacci series are, and then on the next line I want to start printing the series. So initially I have to print 1 and 2. I'm going to be printing the values in whatever is in the first number and the second number over here. So I'm going to print over here n1 plus a space plus n2. Okay, so what are we doing in this? We are printing, first printing 0 and 1. Okay, now we will begin with the for loop over here. Okay, So I am going to say over here for I equal to, now we will have to, okay, I will have to keep one more variable called I for the counter. Okay, so I will say int I equals, or I can actually declare it here also in the for loop also, or I can declare it over here. I can say int I over here, and then here I begin with I for. Now, since I have not declared it here, this is another way I just want to show you that even if you have not declared I previously, I can declare it at the, while using it in the for loop also. Just for that purpose, I'm using it. But if you find it difficult to understand this, you can declare it first over here. You can say over here INTI, and then here you just begin like how we do normally. I equals something, and then I plus plus and so on. Okay. So I'm just not using this right now because I want to show you that you can even declare it in the for loop itself also. So I'm saying int I equals, now I'm not going to begin with 1. Why? Because I have already printed the first two terms of the Fibonacci series. I have already printed 0 and 1. So two terms I have already printed. So I'm going to say for int I equals to semicolon I have to print 10 terms. So I less than equal to 10 and I plus plus. Okay, as I told you, I plus plus stands for I is equal to I plus 1. Basically what I is doing is I is just counting how many terms I have printed. Okay, so suppose if I didn't want 10 terms, I wanted 20 terms, all I do is I just declare the count, I check till 20 here. Okay, now how do I print the next number in the series? What I do is I use the third variable n3 is equal to n1 plus n2. Okay, so initially n1 was 0, n2 was 1, so it has printed 0 and 1. n3 will be 0 plus 1, that is 1. n3 will contain 1, and then it will print over here 1. So I'm going to say system.out.println print, and then I will just print n3, and because I don't want all the numbers to be sticking to next to each other, so I'll put a space here. Okay, so I have printed the next number in the series, so that would be 0 plus 1 is 1, so it would print 1. Now the thing is that I can't just end my loop here, because if I end the loop here, then it will go on printing 1 1 1 1 1 only, because n1 will still remain 0 only and n2 will remain 1 only, so I have to change that. So what am I going to do? I'm going to say n1 is equal to, I'm going to interchange the numbers. Okay, so n1 is equal to n2, n2 is equal to n3. So now after this statement, what will happen? N1 will contain 1, N2 will contain 1. Okay, so when the loop gets over and it comes here, so N3 is equal to 1 plus 1, so that is 2. So it will print 2. So the next number in the series is 2. After that, N1 is equal to N2. So N2 is 1. So N1 will become 1. N2 is equal to N3. N3 was 2. So now N2 will become 2. Then in the next round again, N3 is equal to the previous 2. N1 plus N2. So 1 plus 2, that is it will become 3 and it will print 3 and so on. So I will get my series in this case. See, remember children, whenever you all are doing this, take a pen and a paper, and in your on the paper you keep 3 slots over there. Like since we are using 4 variables here, we are using n1, n2, n3 and I. So you keep all the 4 variables there and check initially what will be the values and keep an output area. What is it going to print? Just like I had done this is called as dry run. Okay, we had done this when we were doing algorithms, in that I had shown you how to go about this. So you can, whenever you think of some logic and you know this is going to be the way I will try writing my program. So whether it is working properly or not, you can check it out with the dry run. Okay, you can physically see how the computer is going to change the value in the variables and what it will actually print. So you will know where, if there is a mistake, you'll know where is the mistake. Okay, so This is done. Now let us just check this whether it is printing the 10 terms. Okay, no syntax errors. Now when I will execute this series, okay, so it is printing 0, 1. Now here it is not printed a space here after this. So this we have to take care. We have to check this. So 2, so that is 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 5 is 13, 13 plus 8 is 21, correct? 21 plus 13 is 34, correct? 34 plus 21 is 55. This is also correct. So I'm getting my series properly. Only thing is here there should have been a space here. So let us check that. So here I should have said plus one more space here. Okay. Now I'm compiling this and executing this once more. Yeah. So it is printing the first 10 terms of the Fibonacci series. So this is done. Okay. So we have done this program which is there in the textbook. Okay. Now I'll do one more program with you. Okay. Uh, there is a program over here in the textbook to print the fourth program. Okay. Third program is a very simple one, so I'm not doing it. Program to using while loop to generate first 10 natural numbers. You have already learned how to generate the first 10 natural numbers, but here there is a little more to it. You're saying and there's sum also. So I want you all to try this out. First 10 natural numbers you have to print, and then at the end you have to print what is the sum of all the 10 numbers. So how are you going to do it? Let's see if you can do this. Okay. And the next one is program to check whether the product of two numbers is a buzz number or not. Now basically what is a buzz number? A buzz number is a number which is the last digit is a 7. Okay. Or it is divisible, the number is divisible by 7. That's called a buzz number. Okay. So they have written over here a number that ends with 7 or is divisible by 7 is called a buzz number. But here the question is not to check whether a given number is a buzz number or not. The question over here is to check whether the product of two numbers, that means the two numbers are going to be given by the user, and we have to multiply the two numbers, and whatever is the product, that number we have to check whether it's a buzz number or not. Now, as I told you, the buzz number is a number which ends with a 7 or it is divisible by 7. Divisible by 7 or not, that you all have learned. You know, you can use the modulus operator. Modulus operator, if you divide it by 7 and you're getting the remainder as a 0, means it is divisible. So you know how to check for the divisibility. How are you going to check whether the given number is the last digit is a 7 or not? Okay. So I wish this was a live class so you could have given me your inputs. Now, this is a very simple thing. Basically, I want to extract the last digit from a given number. Okay. So, whatever number it is, if I divide it by 10, okay. So, if the after dividing it by 10, if the remainder is a 7, so when I divide it by 10, so if the last digit, if it is a 7, we are looking for the last digit to be 7. So whatever number modulus 10, if it is equal to a 7, that means when we will divide it by 10, if it is not divisible and the remainder is a 7, that means the last digit is a 7. Okay. So you can try it out with a pen and pencil, any number you take and you divide it by 10 and you see if it's a 5 or something, then the remainder will come to 5. But if the number, if the last digit was a 7, when you divide it by 10, it will come to, the remainder will be 7. Okay. So this is how you're going to check. You are going to have to check for two values. So we will use the OR logical operator. Okay. Let us do a new program now here. I'll call this as buzz number. I'll just call it buzz. Okay. okay, program to check product of two numbers is a buzz number or not. Okay, and we will also write over here what is a buzz number. A number that ends with 7 or is divisible by 7 is called a buzz number. Okay, now I begin with my class declaration. Public class buzz. Okay, and I begin with the main method, public static void main. Now in this case, I'm going to be accepting two numbers at the time of program execution from the user. The user will give me the two numbers, okay? Because the program is not saying which two numbers. So I'm going to call the two numbers as A and B. So I'm declaring them here, int A, int B, okay? Now I'm going to use a third variable to store the product. So I'm going to say int P, okay, and this is it. We will call it A, B and C. This is all we'll need. Okay, in fact I can directly okay, first thing what I'll do is I can say P is equal to A into B. Now we are going to check, because we have to check whether the product of the two numbers is divisible by 7 or not. I mean whether it's a buzz number or not. So A into B. Now here this program will have no loops, nothing. It's a simple program in which we are just checking. So it's a program in which we are going to use if. Okay. So we can declare over here, just before we start printing the answer, we can say over here system.out.println the product of the two numbers, or we can say the two numbers are the two numbers entered are, and then I can say plus A plus, and remember to put a space here before and after the and, otherwise it will stick. A and B, the two numbers entered are, whatever number will be entered is this and this, okay? And then on the next line we will say their product is their product is, and then the answer is stored in P, so I say plus P, okay? Then now this is done. Now we have to check, we have to print whether P is a buzz number or not. So before printing I have to check, obviously. So I'm going to give the condition here, if P modulus 7, sorry, modulus 10, so this is, I'm checking for the last digit whether it's a 7. So P modulus 10 equals 7. Okay, this means if it is the last digit is a 7 or it is divisible by 7. So the OR operator is this symbol which is above the enter sign. Okay, so you have to use double pipe symbol. It's called a pipe symbol there. Okay, so P modulus, and we want to check whether it's divisible by 7. So P modulus 7 equals 0. That means if both these conditions are true, We are using the or operator. Or operator means any one of the conditions if it is true. This is one condition here and this is another condition here. So any one of these conditions if it is true, then the whole condition will return a true. Okay. So either if the last digit is a 7 or if it is divisible by 7, then it will print over here what we are saying. It will say system dot out dot println, and we will say the number. We will say P plus is a buzz number. Okay. Otherwise, it should say P is not a buzz number. Else system dot out dot println P plus is not a buzz number. Okay. So what we are doing is there is no loop in this program. We are just accepting two numbers from here. We are multiplying the two numbers and storing the product. And then these two statements, we are just printing what were the two numbers entered. So the two numbers entered were A and B, and the product is P. Okay, so it will print the answer of the product of the two numbers. And then we are checking whether it's a buzz number or not. So how are we checking that? We are checking whether it is the last digit is a 7. How did we check for last digit to be 7? We are dividing it by 10. Okay. So the last digit remainder, because we are not using the division symbol, we are using the modulus symbol. Modulus returns the remainder. So P modulus 10, if the remainder is a 7, or when I divide it by 7 and the answer is 0, that means it's a divisible by 7. So any one of these conditions, if it is true, then display the product, whatever is the product, that it is a buzz number. Otherwise, it is not a buzz number. Okay. So let us just okay. Now I'll compile this. Errors found. Control K. This is an unclosed string here. Okay. So I remove this from here. Yeah. Control K. Okay, there is one extra bracket here. I don't need this bracket here. So this, because I forgot there is no loop here. Okay, compile it now. No errors. Okay, so let us run this now. Now it's asking for two numbers. Now the two numbers that I am entering is, let's say, suppose if I say 4 and 10. So it will return me 40, right? 40 is not a buzz number. So the two numbers enter are 4 and 10. The product is 40. 40 is not a buzz number. This is working fine. Okay, let's take another number. Suppose I take 7 and 1. Okay. So it is saying the product is 7. 7 is a buzz number. We can try with some other numbers. Okay. Suppose I say 7 and 11. Okay. So the product is 77 and 77 is a buzz number. Okay. Let's assume another number. I'm just giving random numbers now. Suppose I say 32 and 5. So the product is 160 and it is not a buzz number. So this is working fine. Okay. So we have done many programs today. First we did was a number to print the factors of a given number. We wrote a program to do the Fibonacci series. In the factors, we did two types of programs. One we did to to print the factors of 20. Then the same program I modified it to print the factors of any given number. Okay. The second program we did today was the Fibonacci series. in which it printed the 10 terms of the Fibonacci series, and the third was to print the buzz, whether a given number is a buzz number or not. Okay, so I think I will end the class now over here. Okay, so if you have any problems, none of these programs actually see these series and all. You could have, I don't know how many of you have tried and got it right, but at least none of you have displayed the answer to me, and nobody has got back to me, because there are many children I know who are learning Java elsewhere also. So if you have done the program and you are trying out something and you would like to share it with me, it would be great. So at least I know that there are children who are trying to out programs on their own also. Okay, so there are still in this series of numbers which are there are quite a lot of other numbers which I have not done with you. You can try out those numbers on your own also, because there is no point if I give you all the solutions for all the programs, then you are not thinking. Okay, so you should try and do it on your own. Even if you're wrong, no problem. Okay, then when I am doing it, you are able to understand that where you were not able to think. Okay, so this is the only way you will be able to try to write programs on your own. Okay, just don't take the solution from the teacher and type it in and do it, then that is not your program. Okay, so you will learn how to program only if you will try. Otherwise, and initially you may find it a little difficult, but it is very interesting. If you are able to solve it, you really feel very good about it. Okay, so we'll stop over here for today, and do your project nicely and send it to me. Okay, 20 marks are there.